Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Arnold EQ, your gaming advocate, back at you finally. I know that it's been a while, but I feel like I'm starting to hit my stride now. Hope everybody's doing okay. I was going to ask you guys how you are all doing, but then I realized that that would have been a rhetorical question and nobody would have been able to actually give me an answer. So, me explaining it pretty much does the same thing anyways. Anyhow, here I am. I just finished the depths. I'm heading down into Blighttown. This is the descent into madness. Uh, it's not going to be as maddening for this playthrough. I don't think. I only died a few times. We'll see that as I go through. But before I get into any talking about Dark Souls, I'd like to talk a little bit of business with you first. I do want to maintain my updates, but as I decided that Dark Souls is going to take a lot longer than I thought, and I want to get it done before the remaster comes out, which seems like a tall task at this point since we're only, I don't know, today's May 1st, we're 24 days away. With that said, not every new video I'm going to be doing from now on will be a new update per se. I might not have a lot to say commentary-wise outside of talking about Dark Souls. I'll still try to have some kind of idle chit-chat to keep you guys a little bit entertained as you watch me play. Other than that, my update plan is just kind of out the window. Not entirely, I feel like it takes me so long to put a video together that it's very difficult for me to promise you guys anything in one video and then to wait a week or two to put out another video as an update. Just doesn't seem feasible to me, and I want to keep giving you guys content. I want to be vocal with you guys. I want to interact, whatnot. So you'll start seeing more Dark Souls videos, like it or not, I'm sorry to say, as I progress towards getting the remaster. Worst case scenario, I was thinking that we just go ahead and scrap this playthrough and pick up at the beginning of the remaster. I'll skip whatever I've done in this version of it and continue through on the other side if I don't get done. Because I am still working on my other reviews, I am still working on my other projects. Currently I've broken my aforementioned indie videos down into multiple videos, and the reason, like I said, is a lot of these things were taking a lot more time than I thought they would. I didn't think a 10-minute video was enough for to showcase the 5 games enough. On top of that, I feel like most people need more information. Most people don't need as much information, so I want to do 2 different videos to try to meet the needs of 2 different crowds. I want to do a quick video, maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes, something really, really short that you can just consume really quickly. I want it to be a little bit entertainment, but I want you guys to just be able to take a look at the game, check out what the fundamentals of it are. If you're sitting on the fence, you can say, yeah, this is exactly what I hoped it would be, or no, this is not at all what I wanted it to be. At the same time, I wanted to be able to look at a game and go into an in-depth review to like break down all the ins and outs of the games, because I know a lot of people like to know exactly what they're getting into. How does co-op function? How does multiplayer PvP function? What's the loot system like, depending on what kind of game you're playing? Just those simple things can go a long ways, and I want to do a video, and a lot of those things take 20 minutes or so. So I wanted to do a video like that. That way everybody has a good perspective on both sides of the fence. As I said, I am not abandoning any of my previous work. I am continuing to work on 2 current reviews on top of the Dark Souls project. One of those games is Enter the Gungeon, the other one is Killing Floor 2, if anybody wants to check those games out, or if you guys have already checked them out. Feel free to let me know what you feel about them. I would like to add any kind of opinions you might have about them. I know that the more opinions that we have, the bigger consensus that I can get overall about what this game really is, because not everybody is into, certain types of games. Of course, my reviews will be a little bit catered to that. I think that having I like this thing, so I'll like this, versus I didn't like this, I probably won't like this. If you don't like sports games, I probably won't recommend Madden to you. In other words, if you liked Geometry Wars or twin stick shooters, I might, introduce you guys to more twin stick shooters. Obviously, everybody's opinion is different, and everybody's taste is a little bit different, and I always want to keep an open mind about that. So the more opinions you guys can give me, the better I feel like I can translate that into the end of my review when I give a quick rundown overall. Of course, we won't really know how this review is going to go until I can finally get one out, so yeah. Anyways, comments, opinions, I'd love to have them. So with business out of the way, I'm going to get more into Dark Souls, but with one last thing. These videos will start becoming a little bit more chatty, or I'm going to try to keep them more lively, some chattiness. If you guys have questions, comments, if you guys have some topics, if you guys want my opinions on things, I got lots of opinions. I'm sure everybody does. It's not really that big of a deal if you guys don't. I will try to give you guys a heads up about what topics I will be talking about. For instance, the Avengers just came out. I won't be talking about Infinity War for at least a month. I gotta give everybody a chance. That's just this movie in general is just too much to spoil. New music that I'm listening to currently, which may or may not ever happen. But anyways, on to Dark Souls. Last time I left off, I was in the depths, and I just slayed the Gaping Dragon. Here I am going down into Blighttown. This is the descent. This part in particular is exceptionally frustrating to a lot of people. My first playthrough way back, I don't know, a couple years ago, it was really, really difficult, and admittedly I used a guide because this place is a vertical labyrinth. Not only that, but in a lot of the portions of Dark Souls, the game itself is kind of forgiving, wherein it doesn't take away your ability to move. In this descent, and even in Blighttown proper, your movement's heavily restricted either by a swamp full of poison, or in this instance, we're very, very high up, so our footing is precarious to say the least. You're going to get a little bit of look at that here in a minute. Of course, I remember I'm a little bit stupid. I died just a minute ago. I should have came over here to this bonfire. I wouldn't have had to have the long fight back to this point. I know I didn't show that. I just, transitioned into that. But as I said before, I'm not a master or a expert at this game, and it has been a hot minute since I've played through it, so please give me a little bit of leeway. Another thing I meant to mention, I should have mentioned it at the beginning of this video, was a lot of this you'll notice is sped up. This video originally was 30 or 40 minutes. I know that the double time might be a little sickening. I hope it's not, but I wanted to show everything that I was doing while still maintaining a relatively short video. I mean, the overall video, I think of this one is about 20 minutes or so. But my speed up is in order to crunch that down without losing any of the actual visual representation of what's going on. And I do try to slow it down a few times during the fights so that you get an accurate idea of what fighting is like. But just know that if this is the first time watching the game, it's not normally this quick. Another thing I should introduce everybody to, especially if you're new to this series, is a little bit of the lore and a little bit of what's going on. Currently, my descent down into this poison swamp and why I'm doing any of this harrowing journey is to ring the 2 bells of awakening. The first one was in the church, and the second one is down in Blighttown. I know I haven't filmed any of the beginning parts of this game. I wanted to say blah blah blah, it's easy. It's not really that easy. The real truth, if I haven't already mentioned it before, is I just really didn't think about doing this project until after I'd already started my playthrough of Dark Souls, and then I got my capture card. I'm still really new to all of this. Long story short, going down here, ringing the second bell of awakening, which will open the gate to Sin's Fortress. More on that place later. That'll actually be an entire video of its own. At the beginning of this game, once you get out of the Undead Asylum, you're dropped off at Firelink Shrine, and you talk to a few people that are mildly friendly, I guess. They're not actively trying to kill you, so I take that as a win in this game. And one of them describes that you should go up to the top of the church and ring the bell, and then you should travel down into Blighttown and ring the bell, and he tells you, I don't know what'll happen, just go ahead and do it. Which is pretty much the basis of this entire game is, oh man, I don't really understand what's going on, especially in your first playthrough, because the game world itself doesn't reveal a whole lot to you. And a lot of what I found either through loading screens or item descriptions or online. I found a lot of things online. There are plenty of YouTube videos. I guess I should link to some of them because they do an excellent job of describing the lore. But basically the game is pretty open to interpretation. For instance, my character is, well, your character, the general, my character, everybody's character has been chosen undead. You ring the bells of awakening, and your primary goal after that is to go capture the 4 great souls and link the flame, or don't link the flame, depending on how you feel about it all. I didn't link the flame my first playthrough. For whatever reason, I feel like that was a good ending, because it goes away with the Age of Fire. And like, if this is going to continue on, like, this is awful. So maybe it'll be even worse with humans in charge. I don't know. But here's where my pro tip's gonna shine before I get too much further down here, and I should have done it before I got this far, but back at the beginning of the game, there is a lady or a merchant that will sell you purple moss and blooming purple moss, which will cure your poison and toxin effects, and in this place, that's basically all that's gonna get thrown at you. So not only do you have the tremendous height here, you'll have to contend with the poison swamp that's constantly poisoning you. Oh, and then these guys here in a second who are going to start blasting me with toxic arrows. Another cool note about Dark Souls, and I guess not necessarily the lore, but just how to play the game in general, you can pretty much do anything that you want, whenever you want, within the confines of what you're doing. For instance, after you ring the 2 bells of awakening, you can, well, after you ring the 2 bells, then you progress a little bit further in the game. The game basically opens up and you can go anywhere and everywhere. But even when the game first starts you off, you can go to some of the later parts of the game without ever knowing it. And on top of that, you can actually choose to ring this bell first if you are ballsy enough to go down here and do it. Honestly, for casuals, average players, newcomers, I would highly suggest going to ring the church bell first. Of course, my word isn't gospel, and there will be plenty of good players that have Dark Souls, of course, that will tell you that they'll ring the bell, well, do whatever they want, you know, because they are that good. However, if you're just not getting into the game, I would highly suggest going to the church first. I hope you guys forgive my idle wanderings here. Yeah, there's this guy with toxin up there shooting at me. He's the first of many, I assure you. But forgive my idle wanderings. Another reason, like I said, why I sped the video up to 1.5 times and then 2 times speed, I think, are the 2 that I use the most. Here in a little bit, I'll slow it down because I really want. There's a brief moment that I wanted to actually talk about, and we'll get more into that in a second as well. I don't know why I'm bringing it up before. But if I did leave anything important out in my search through this section of the game, I didn't use a guide or anything, so feel free to let me know. I don't think I leave any key items laying around. Oh, I also do cheese a few parts, so I guess prepare for that. But yeah, I think I do enough searching that basically anybody who's watching this can use this as a guide, but don't hold me to that outside of having key items. Another really important thing, I would have stocked up on a lot of arrows. I mean, I personally did in this playthrough, I think. I don't have a whole lot right now, but I think I bought 200 whenever I first started. But stock up on arrows, because being able to kite things one at a time or being able to cheese like I do here is always a really, really good strategy. I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, it's you know, get good, whatever. Get good. If you haven't beat the game, then you're not getting a chance to get good. I mean, play through the game, getting stuck at a place and being frustrated no end and then just quitting is, you know, yes, you need to get good, but if you can do it in an easy way, I would highly suggest doing it. There's definitely no shame in doing it, especially, you know, why climb the mountain if you can go around it. But shaming aside, which personally, I mean, even cheesing things in this game seems like it's a bit of a challenge and takes a little bit of precognition, so it's not a very easy thing. That's why I'm doing this for you guys, trying to help you out a little bit, give you this guide. I will say, for all the gloom and doom that this game exudes, the atmosphere is fantastic, and a lot of people always ask, well, why is Dark Souls so great? Like, what makes it such a great game? The difficulty it makes it challenging, and of course challenging games are always enjoyable within reason. I know a lot of people hate throwing themselves against the brick wall and not get anywhere other than just pure frustration. A few of the notes that you read will even express other players' frustrations, so it's pretty funny. But all in all, the atmosphere, it's crazy. This game does something that most games don't do. Yes, the enemies are trying to kill me, but the environment is trying to kill me regardless of how crazy it is. And it's just so oppressive. I mean, here in a second, you'll see the grandeur of it all. Like, compared to some of these monsters, I'm relatively the same size, but compared to the overall world, in this world, you're just a nobody. You're nothing. Like, I mean, look at the height. I'm trying to scale down this scaffolding down this great wall into this great poison swamp down here, and I'm just a flea. Like, I mean, seriously, just the size and scale of everything. And then the great ash oak, like that thing, it starts at the bottom of the swamp and it rises up above the great walls of Anne Orlando. It's crazy. Like, this entire, it's one of my favorite things in the game, and we'll get back to that later because the Ash Oak holds some pretty cool secrets and some pretty deadly creatures, which we're not ready for. Well, I'm not ready for. But I slowed it down there because I really wanted to talk about that kind of thing. There are, throughout the entire series, it's not just this game. There are some amazing verandas. There are some crazy good artwork. It's always amazing that whenever you see something in these games, you're going to those places. I remember in Dark Souls 3, getting a little bit ahead of myself in the series overall, but in Dark Souls 3, one of the first moments whenever you open the doors and you see the entire Lothric Castle, and then once you're getting ready to leave the castle before they take you off of the Great Wall, you can see everything from the Church of Yorkshire to Great Irithyll to Anne Orlando again, and it's really, really cool. So right here I kind of messed up. If you guys caught my edit, I had already gone through the fog gate. Obviously a lot of keen-eyed players will know that there should be a fog gate there. Where I just ran back to, you can drop down. There are a few items. I think it's a whip and a few things. I don't find them absolutely necessary, so I just skipped them. You know, if you're going to die, trying to get something that you're not even going to use, then what's the point? But I did mess up. I went back and got that pyromancy. We're almost done. This is basically the end of it. We're coming down the scaffolding. I've already the bodies of the dead that I've already killed. A lot of these things are pretty ugly. They're kind of scary looking. They're not very strong per se, but they will kill you if they're given the chance. So my best advice to you for this is just go in there, hack and slash until they're dead. You'll probably have enough stamina. The fire bugs, especially if you give them a chance, they'll just keep burning you, and it makes it really complicated whenever they're burning you, on top of the fact that you're contending with poison and toxin. Another conundrum you're going to have, I think I face here in a second, what to do if you're poisoned and you're almost going to die, if you should heal or if you should just go ahead and try to cure your poison. So yeah, I get toxic, and Purple Moss Clump is the blooming Purple Moss Clump. But guess who didn't have them equipped, and I'm just bleeding out of, well, poisoning out. So, like I said, stock up on those. You can't really, at this point, if you're already down here, it's too late. I'm not going to go back out, but if you're watching this before you do your run, then for the love of God, go to the Merchant and Aqueduct and buy some toxic and poison cure. Otherwise, just continue down the scaffolding. The mosquitoes will try to inflict bleed on you, and of course these crazy firebug things. I don't know what else to call them. Or we'll just, you know, flamethrower you like Charmeleon. But just go ahead and kill them really quickly. They got no defense whatsoever. And move down here. Just follow the wall along the way as well, and it'll lead you to the bonfire. And that's it. You've made your descent down to Blighttown, and now the real fun begins. Until next time, everybody, this has been Zonal EQ, and I will catch up with you in my next update.